Again, good afternoon, everyone. We'll start in a minute. Please be on standby. We'll begin. Good afternoon again. Welcome to PPSA's General Assembly. We are happy to have all of you here with us as we report on and celebrate our milestones, discuss how we can translate pathways to actions, and introduce more ways to work together. I am Ami Chua, Country Director of the Philippines Partnership for Sustainable Agriculture, or PPSA, and I will be your host for this afternoon's virtual event. Before we begin, let me take you through some house rules. First, this webinar is being recorded. We will publish the webinar with the breakout sessions taken out from the published recording. The recording will be made available to the public after the session through our respective social media channels and newsletter. So we hope you are already subscribed to our digital platform. If not yet, the links will be posted by a PPSA team member on the chat box. Your audio is on mute. We will allow everyone to speak during the breakout discussions. Just use the raised hand function and wait to be acknowledged. Please feel free to use the chat box to share any ideas or insights or just greet our guests and speakers. For our speakers, may we request you to turn on your cameras prior to your speaking parts so we can place you on spotlight as you speak. This one is very important. As part of our advocacy on effective partnerships, let's listen intently to the presentations and discussions later with an open mind. Also, let's keep the discussions healthy and full of respect. And lastly, if you are having any technical issues, send a chat to any of the PPSA team members. To warm up, may we invite you to respond to the poll that you will see on your screen. Please choose the sector you belong to so we can check the diversity in the room. We'll allot around 20 seconds for this poll. Again, kindly respond to this. Which stakeholder group are you from? And then maybe we'll wait until around 80% for all of us to respond to the poll. We are now at 62%. I hope the others can respond to the poll too. I think we're good. We're at 78%, and we see there are many companies and private sector players in the Zoom room. We also have a lot of friends from the research and academe and also from the civil society organizations. I hope that you can, of course, find the session useful and very informative. Thank you. Now, to formally begin the General Assembly, we are pleased to have with us PPSA's private and public sector co-chairs to give their messages. To start off, we are privileged to have Dr. Mary Ann Sayok, or MAPS, the Public Affairs Lead of East West Seed International and PPSA's private sector co-chair. MAPS, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Ami. Good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure to welcome all of you to today's event. Before I begin, may I acknowledge the presence of PPSA's Public Sector Co-Chair and Department of Agriculture Secretary Dr. Willie Dar, our core committee members and working group leads, speakers and moderators, guests and friends. A bountiful afternoon. Your presence today signifies that you are focusing on the long term and that you are open to working with others. This General Assembly is such a meaningful occasion. This is the first time since the pandemic started that we are convening all of PPSA's members and partners, and the first time for me to address you as PPSA's private sector co-chair. While we would have loved to meet you all again in person, we will continue to do virtual learning sessions until the situation permits larger gatherings. I remember during the PPSA Vegetable Working Group Direction Setting Workshop, there was a recommendation to take a systems thinking approach and conduct a food systems analysis to respond to the complex challenges, help professionalize cooperatives, and develop strategies to improve market data collection and access. The other working groups have also discussed concrete steps. The coffee working group, for example, has discussed learning agenda for the next sessions and identified stakeholders who can help pursue their collaborative activities. This is the type of progress that we want to see being formed at the network and working group levels. One that maximizes the participation of various players. While things may be moving a little slow, but given the nature of facilitation amidst the pandemic, I can say we are doing such great strides. Our event theme, from collaborations to value co-creation, clearly depicts PPSA and Grow Asia's strategy of multi-sector collaborations. Our key visuals, as you have been seeing in our posters and layout, symbolize the Filipino pride. Hagdan Palayan, which is similar to stairs that you need to climb to reach the top, a pathway facilitating cultivation on steep slopes. Like the partnerships formed through PPSA, the curved terraces represent every stakeholder lifting up the smallholder farmers and fishers, ensuring that they are empowered, especially during these tough times. Now more than ever, the call for all of us to work better and stronger together is very critical. Imagine how greatly difficult it is for the more vulnerable smallholder farmers and fishers to survive during the pandemic. For decades, they have been serving us. Now that we need help, are we doing the same for them? It has been years, if not decades, that Filipino smallholder farmers and fishers struggle to meet their daily household requirements. They continue to be among the poorest in the country. In fact, according to the updated 2018 report on the poverty in the Philippines released by the Philippine Statistics Authority in 2020, the farmers, fisherfolks, and individuals residing in the rural areas had higher poverty incidences compared to the other basic sectors at 31.6, 26.2, and 24.5% poverty incidence respectively. These Filipinos cannot afford to buy even their basic needs. Among families, there are around 800,000 or 3.4% that are food poor in 2018, whose household income is below the food threshold for a family of 5 at around 7,500 pesos per month. Their plight makes them even more vulnerable to shocks and calamities, plus to mention the challenges brought about by the pandemic. This is where we should come in. As the quote said, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. While we highly recognize our respective organizations' programs, the challenge is for us to work together to contribute to the larger food systems transformation, extend support to more farmers, and provide or work towards a greener, healthier, and more sustainable future. In pushing for this, PPSA has been on a mission to support the growth of smallholder farmers through 3 approaches. First, contributing to create an enabling environment through private sector partnerships and support to the drafting of national action plans and roadmaps. Second, continuous learning and knowledge advancements. Third, networking, coordination, and brokering that aim to help our members and partners find the right partners to scale up their support to farmers and fishers. This year, we also took the route of a food systems approach, as the PPSA served as one of the 2 main resource persons in the organization of food systems national and subnational dialogues. This allows us to apply a broader, holistic, systems thinking approach and strive for small and big wins. This afternoon, we will also report on our recent milestones, all made possible by your continued and growing support. We would not be able to stand as strong as today without your trust to PPSA and Grow Asia's platforms. We especially thank those who have been attending our working group meetings, webinars, and focus group discussions. We aim to strengthen these working groups so that they can better serve as platforms for idea incubation, network and partnership building, and project facilitation. Today, to express our thanks, we organized this event to provide you with both theoretical and practical concepts and illustration that will help you help more farmers and fishers and engage in national and international interventions related to food security, sustainability, and food systems transformation. As we have been witnessing, many Filipinos are experiencing challenges. We hope that us working together to accommodate their needs and limitations, eliminate barriers and silos, take some risks, will allow more farmers to gain rewards and find living a little less difficult. We look forward to hearing your aha moments and anticipate your interest to work more closely with others within the PPSA network. We are banking on your support and contributions so that the PPSA could be a stronger, more productive, and a lot more using platform that can aid our individual, corporate, sectoral, and even national growth. We look forward to welcoming you as official members of PPSA and figuring out how to maximize PPSA as your platform to lead and participate in local and international dialogues and activities, and co-create mutually benefiting projects. Again, good afternoon, and we look forward to engaging discussions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Marianne. Thank you, MAPS. Thank you for reminding us of the potential and exponential benefits of the power of the many and highlighting the call for us to go beyond dialogues towards initiative and inclusive actions. Now, PPSA's Public Sector Co-Chair and Department of Agriculture Secretary, Dr. William Dar, will share his message through this video recording.
Magandang araw.
Jill, did the video stop? Kindly stop sharing and I will handle it. Thank you.
Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. Pleasant day to everyone. It is my distinct pleasure to grace this annual gathering of agricultural players from various sectors and industries. But before anything else, I'd like to express my gratitude to the Philippines Partnership for Sustainable Agriculture, or PPSA, for organizing this General Assembly and Practitioners Workshop to celebrate our collective accomplishments in the past year. The Department of Agriculture, together with PPSA, will continuously provide a multi-industry, multi-stakeholder partnership platform for agriculture in the Philippines. This collaboration is devoted to elevate the lives of smallholder farmers and fishers, to contribute to the larger food systems transformation. Guided by our One DA reform agenda, we will help small farmers and fishers to become strong, self-sustaining, and thriving partners. Further, we will help them harness the power of technology and innovation and digital agriculture, all to make farming, fishing, and agribusiness enterprises more efficient, more productive, more profitable, and sustainable. But we must act together. The economic crisis and global tragedy brought on by COVID-19 points to an interdependent world. They constitute a clear demonstration of the fact that we cannot escape each other's troubles and that there can be no solution to global problems without global cooperation. May this event serve as a learning ground that will share various pathways and leverage points towards uplifting the agriculture sector that could help us combat the challenges we are all facing towards fulfilling our common goals. Once again, good day to everyone and mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thank you so much, Sekdar, for that reassuring message of support. We truly appreciate your guidance to PPSA. Now, moving on to one of the most awaited parts of the program, an inspirational message from our guest speaker. May I call on VJ Kalutan, PPSA's Communications and Engagement Manager, to introduce our guest speaker.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ami, for that. And while she cannot be here with us because of the current situation in the Philippines, it is still my honor to introduce the Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, VP Lenny Robredo. Maria Leonor Herona Robredo is an alternative lawyer and public servant, is the 14th Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. After years of working with the poor and the marginalized, teaching the less fortunate about their rights under the law, Lenny, as she is popularly known, emerged into national consciousness following the loss of her husband, a longtime Naga City Mayor and Interior Secretary Jesse Robredo. Called upon to carry his legacy of good governance, she stepped into the political arena in 2013 when she won as representative of the 3rd District of Camarines Sur. Amid a productive term in Congress, she was called upon to run for the vice presidency and rose above many odds to assume the 2nd highest elected post in the country. And of course, determined to bring the office of the vice president closer to the people, she led the crafting of its flagship anti-poverty program called Angat Buhay. It's an endeavor inspired by 6 key advocacy areas, including food security and nutrition, women empowerment, education, healthcare, rural development, and housing. It has reached out to poor communities around the country, and through the generosity of partner organizations and individuals, most of whom are from the private sector. She also launched Historia na Pag-asa, a program that aims to spread hope and positivity by featuring extraordinary stories of ordinary Filipinos through words and portraits shown at events, exhibits, and social media. Without much further ado, we would like you to hear BP Lenny's inspirational message in this short video.
It fills me with pride to see that even in the face of the pandemic, you remain actively engaged in addressing the most urgent issues in your community and in our country. Conversations like this are important, especially as it has become clearer. Our actions as individuals affect the lives of even those who will come generations after we are gone. And as our actions have grown in scale, power, and scope, it is incumbent on us to create systems, policies, and practices that are sustainable. As advocates, you understand more than most that caring for the environment is not just a simple advocacy. It is a prerequisite to our very survival. The natural world is the resource base that allows the energies of the economy to flow, and its degradation is a threat to humanity and all other beings on this planet. The challenge is structural, and structures cannot be dismantled alone. The task now, therefore, is to reach out, to band together, to build momentum for the current movement for urgent action. Find and inspire others who share your values and advocacies. Dream, plan, and move towards bigger goals because there is so much that can still be done. From continuing community-based solutions and organizing awareness campaigns to supporting policies that promote a more responsible use of technology and expanding our horizon of care to include issues like our patterns of consumption and its effects. I have faith that this effort is only the beginning of a larger, more strategic, more intensified push towards a larger, more holistic effort. Much work remains. But with you leading the way, I have faith that we will find the best and most humane path to the future of our hopes. I wish you continued success. Thank you. Mabuhay kayong lahat.
Indeed, when we move together towards the same direction, we can achieve greater, powerful things. Thank you so much, VP Lenny, for taking the time to share your message with us despite this hectic period. We wish you success in all your endeavors. For this part of the program, I will be reporting some of the highlights of PPSA's work in the past years. Again, may I remind everyone to be on mute, please? Thank you. Now proceeding to the PPSA's operations report. It was late in 2016 when Grow Asia started its talks with the Philippine Business for Social Progress, or PBSP, as many of us are more familiar with, to officially set up and lodge PPSA, bearing in mind the end goal of helping support the growth of smallholder farmers and fishers through collaborations. What started as a coming together of various advocacies of a few, Grow Asia, PBSP, the Department of Agriculture, Unilever Philippines, Nestle Philippines, MacNut, KCCDFI, DuPont Pioneer, and now Corteva Agri-Science, CIERCA, or Southeast Asian Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture, and of course, Jollibee Group Foundation. Today, along with the celebration of PPSA's incorporation, PPSA network has grown to nearly 200 active partners and around 2,000 organizations in our database. That means 2,000 groups and experts that we can potentially tap for larger, scalable, and collaborative projects. This is with special thanks, of course, to the guidance of our strategic partners and advisors, the World Economic Forum and the ASEAN Secretariat through Grow Asia, PBSP, FoodLink Advocacy Cooperative, PPSA's previous and current co-chairs, PPSA's core committee members, working group leads, and of course, Joyce Gomez, previous country director who successfully led the secretariat. It was July last year, 4 months after the announcement of the pandemic with strict lockdowns in many places of the country, when I returned to again manage the PPSA secretariat. It was honestly not an easy task and not an easy time, as the case with many of us, given the limitations of the conduct of ground activities, convening, and of course, seeking funding support from our donors and members. But with your continued trust and commitment to our advocacy, our network is becoming stronger and wider despite the said limitations. We remained aligned with the theory of change that has been set when PPSA was created, and we are fortunate to be further fueled to expand some of our activities and member servicing while continuously responding to the needs of the agriculture sector. Today, we remain firm and working towards a state where Filipino smallholder farmers and fishers are living better lives, free from poverty and hunger, and empowered to act based on climate positive principles and engage in viable and inclusive business initiatives. We do this through our strategic approaches of leadership and knowledge exchange, information and technical support, membership, network and partnership management, regional network and insights, and of course, resource mobilization. In the past year, like any budding organization does, our working group activities focused on supporting value chain projects and helping provide access to markets such as that of the corn, coconut, and fisheries working groups, wherein our working group partners engaged our partner farmer groups in their supply chains, and other efforts related to research and food security, such as the plant trials of the vegetable working group. We have now also supported sectoral interventions led by the coffee working group and the creation of the IAVCC, or the Inclusive Agriculture Value Chains Consortium, by the Agri-Finance working group. We will present more details about the milestones of the PPSA working groups in a while. We realize that with the representations within PPSA and the richness of insights that we gather from our dialogues and learning events, we can greatly support policy enhancements and national action plan development. This is why we try our best to participate in national high-level discussions. We are grateful for the support of the Department of Agriculture Training Institute led by Director Rosana Mula and her team for allowing us, the PPSA Secretariat, to work with them to conceptualize multi-stakeholder consultation sessions and make the crafting of the Philippine Action Plan for Family Farming more participatory and inclusive. After we have gathered, consolidated, and analyzed the inputs, the PAP4FF, or the Philippine Action Plan for Family Farming, has been approved and launched in the first quarter of this year. We also thank IFAD, the FAO, and the DA, specifically the DA International Affairs Division, for entrusting us to work with them to plan for the various national and subnational food systems dialogues. With us as their resource person, along with Agrea's Cherry Atelano, we developed session designs, conducted national dialogues, and drafted the ministerial statement and Philippines pathway for food systems transformation. From these projects, we also met our friends from the Philippine Commission on Women and the Institute of Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, or ISEA, who share with us the same goal of advancing women's socioeconomic empowerment. We have been engaged by PCW in assimilating the feedback from their roundtable discussions with women entrepreneurs, farmers, and fishers. We also partner with ISEA in cascading the benchmarks for transformational partnerships for women economic empowerment, or the BTPW, to provide a comprehensive scorecard to monitor and evaluate engagements of women small-scale producers in agriculture value chains across Southeast Asia. We thank ISEA for their trust to the PPSA Secretariat and allowing us to be part of its reactor panel towards the finalization of the BTPW. Apart from this, the PPSA Secretariat was also involved as member of various technical working groups, including that of USAID and Agriterra, on the formulation of the Agricultural Development Cooperative Agenda, or ACDA, the core group convened by Philippines Partnership for Development of Human Resources in Rural Asia, or PHILDRA, to support the passing of the Magna Carta of young farmers, and of course, the Department of Social and Technology in Region 3 to assess and vet their organic agriculture and high-value vegetable production technology scanning report. Given the restrictions to face-to-face gatherings, we shifted to virtual platform as what many organizations did to push through with our events and activities. Since the pandemic started last year, we had a total of 30 webinars and virtual dialogues conducted, with close to 2,000 total number of attendees. In these sessions, we make sure that we follow the guidelines on gender diversity, with women speakers included in the panel. This covered topics on food security, sustainable agriculture production, food safety, biosecurity threats, gender mainstreaming, responsible agriculture investments, and digital agriculture, among others. In some of these virtual events, we were fortunate to partner with respected organizations, namely the Department of Agriculture for the subnational dialogue between the government agencies and farmer groups, for the UNFSS, Philippine Seed Industry Association and CropLife Asia for the subnational dialogue on innovations and technology, Nestle Philippines, of course, for their roadshow, ECCP, or the European Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines, who partnered with us in launching the PPSA Agri-Conversations, USAID Safe Water Project for an information session that aimed at providing livelihood opportunities for watershed communities, Agrea for the launch of the Grow Her platform in the Philippines, and the Woman Save Food Project. USAID Green Invest Asia for the learning session on climate smart agriculture, and of course other Grow Asia country partnerships for our inter-country webinars. We do all of this while working on other programs, such as the promotion of the ASEAN RAI, wherein we have been conducting case studies. Once published, these case studies will give you insights on how our identified agribusinesses are able to integrate responsible agriculture principles into their business investments. And of course, the most recent is our work with the CICIRO, FoodLink Advocacy, Picard, and Academies for the IVC Philippines, or Inclusive Value Chains Philippines, which will conduct a participatory action research on the coffee and vegetable value chains in Mindanao and Visayas. We are excited to share the results of our ongoing studies. So what's next? The next months continue to be exciting as we have the following key projects lined up. Series of workshops with the farm school owners under the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund Extension Program, the Inclusive Value Chains Philippines Project, the ASEAN Green Recovery through Equity and Empowerment, or AGRI project, with the Cambodia Partnership for Sustainable Agriculture, Partnerships for Sustainable Agriculture in Vietnam, Grow Asia, ISEA, and ASEAN CRN, Agro-Entrepreneurship Session with the Jollibee Group Foundation, and the series of information sessions on climate smart agriculture with the Canadian Embassy, which will kick off our webinars for 2022. Later on in the program, we will also launch a community of practice, which will help us create and facilitate warmer, closer relationships towards well-coordinated and well-consulted projects. Now for the updates from the working groups, we invited the working group leads to report in their respective accomplishments. Starting off with the Coffee Working Group led by Ms. Ruth Navales, Corporate Affairs Executive of Nestle Philippines Incorporated, PPSA Working Group Lead, Coffee Working Group Lead, Coffee Agriculture Committee Chair of the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, and just appointed as the High Value Crops Lead for Coffee of the National Agriculture and Fisheries Council. The mic is yours, Ms. Ruth.
Thank you very much, Ami. Can you hear me?
Clearly, ma'am.
Yes, okay. Hi, good afternoon po sa lahat. I'm very happy to see everyone this afternoon. Among the first working groups created by Grow Asia and PPSA 4 years ago in 2017, the Coffee Working Group was the first to take a more macro or sectoral approach to maximize the contributions of the members towards providing support to national efforts. This direction was brought about by the commitment and the desire to empower as many coffee farmers as we can through a national roadmap that truly captures the experiences and needs of the coffee farmers. We had several dialogues with the government, particularly with the high value crops and rural credit division of the Department of Agriculture, and with key Philippine players to develop and update the national coffee roadmap that right now will cover 2022 to 2026. The contributions of the Coffee Working Group were essential in developing the value chain section and budget estimates of the said roadmap. Apart from this, we also spoke on various national and international conferences to share best practices in building and maintaining partnerships and adopting sustainable coffee production practices. Apart from gaining more insights, we value the connections and partnerships we built through those sessions. Middle of this year, we conducted a direction setting workshop with coffee players. From the possible interventions suggested, the Coffee Working Group members agreed to work on two aspects in the coming months. First, building the capacities of the coffee farmers so that they can adopt good agricultural practices. Next slide, please. Specifically on prioritizing ready cluster farmers to have GAP or Good Agricultural Practices certification. As Joji Pantoja of Coffee for Peace stated, accurately, this is the foundation of sustainable farming. And with the value of the Good Agricultural Practices principles appreciated and well understood by the farmers, more opportunities will be available for them. For this line of work, we will also be reaching out to the coffee councils in the regions to explore and establish partnerships. And in collaboration with the new NAF Council, of which yours truly is the coffee lead, we will definitely include our coffee concerns. Next on the list, we will be able to facilitate the linkage between larger farmers, cooperatives, and the budding ones, applying the big brother, small brother approach. We recognize that the learnings from the more mature farmer organizations could greatly be motivated and assisted those new and smaller farmers. Moving forward, discussions and learning sessions are planned so that we can share our TESDA accreditation journey and support other players who are undergoing the same process. We also have lined up dialogues to discuss how tech companies can support the promotion of the good agricultural practices for coffee, among others. Truly, upskilling is key. Today, we have been mentoring around 1,500 coffee farmers in Mindanao through Project Coffee Plus. With the coffee working group now conversing regularly, we envision increasing the number of farmers benefited and providing support to other projects for coffee farmers. This will only be made possible through collaborative efforts of everyone. We are consistently on the lookout for more partners. As I end, I thank our very active members from Nestle, Coffee for Peace, Agricultural Training Institute, Cavite State University, Sustancia, 8-Layer Technologies, for sharing their time, expertise, and resources that help us and the coffee farmers and the coffee industry in general. Should you be interested to be part of the coffee working group, you may reach out to me or any member of the PPSA Secretariat. Friends, let us keep the coffee working group and the Filipino coffee farmers very warm. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ruth. Congratulations on successfully leading the coffee working group. And of course, congratulations on your recent appointment to the National Agriculture and Fisheries Council. Next, we have Girly Bananya, head of the Knowledge Transfer Unit of East-West Seed and lead of the PPSA's Vegetable Working Group. Over to you, Girly.
Thank you so much, Ami, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to meet the PPSA network. Hello po sa lahat. Like the other working groups of PPSA, the Vegetable Working Group has already come a long way in establishing collaborations with various stakeholders and responding to the issues of smallholder farmers in the market. For example, the project exploration that we had with the KCC Mall in Zamboanga to help them strengthen their local sourcing initiative directly from smallholder farmers. PPSA, together with East-West Seed, partnered with the City Agriculture Office of Zamboanga for proper assessment of lands and farmers that could be tapped for the project, and with the Tanginyaman Center for Community Development and Microfinance Foundation Incorporated, or the KCC DMFI, for potential financing opportunities for the farmer, and other input companies such as Macnat Philippines and Zamboanga Grains Incorporated. The project was collaborative and every stakeholder contributed their time and resources to make this project successful. As a follow-up, PPSA will revisit this partnership model to push through with the collaboration and seek more partners for this undertaking. The more recent project of the Vegetable Working Group was the collaborative plant trial that hoped to respond to the quality issues and diversify kangkong varieties for potential commercial use of a large market player. We enjoined the participation of different organizations such as Ahon sa Hirap Incorporated, the Enavet Nutrition Technologies, Sustancia Philippines, Syngenta, and Sinochem for this project. Through Ahon sa Hirap, the Vegetable Working Group was able to tap the upland farmer group at the foot of Mount Banahaw and Liliw, Laguna. Inavet responded first with the provision of organic inputs. East West Seed also provided some planting and materials and seeds, while the output of the plant trial did not meet the requirements of the off-taker. We had this very clear takeaway: partnerships work. So as we move forward, we are banking on the resources and expertise of every member of the Vegetable Working Group, and our recent working group planning meeting echoed this approach. Next on our to-dos is to map out the different expertise and initiatives of our members to gauge how we can work together given the available resources. This is also in preparation for a possible food systems analysis. Farmer training and capacity building or provision of inputs and materials can already be big contributions to this end. For PPSA, the recommendation was to facilitate the outreach to consumers and market, like the restaurant chains, to dig deeper analysis on the demand trends, like understand their vegetable needs towards recommending local sourcing projects. For this, we need further support from many organizations within this PPSA network. For us and East West Seed, collaborations are always welcome. Currently, we partnered with the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research, or ASHAR, for a vegetable value chain project anchored on PhilGap in Leyte and Bukidnon. We have also ongoing collaboration with PhilRice for the rice vegetable diversification in Lupao, Nueva Ecija in support of the Plant program. Coffee growers in Bukidnon were also adapting the coffee vegetable integrated farming systems under the joint project between East West Seed, German Agency for International Cooperation, or GIZ, and Nestle Philippines. And all of these projects, East West Seed piloted the value chain support linking to farmers to the buyers like Dison Farms, NutriAsia, and the consolidator, Central Super Sales Incorporated. Finally, I would like to give my thanks to Jollibee Group Foundation, Mennonite Economic Development Associates, or MEDA, Management Association of the Philippines, the Eagle Sensing, Sustancia Philippines, Foundation for Sustainable Society Incorporated, the Foodlink Advocacy Cooperative, Benguet State University, and other groups participating in the working group meetings. Your inputs and commitments are highly appreciated. Moving forward, if anyone is interested to join our working group meeting, you may leave your email addresses in the chat box and we will contact you separately. Again, thank you so much for this opportunity to discuss the updates on Vegetable Working Group that my former colleague Dexter De Fontorum and our very own Dr. Mary Ann Sayok has established for us. Let's keep in touch and enjoy the rest of the program. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you so much, Girly. We are excited to working more closely with you and the rest of the Vegetable Working Group members. To report on the updates of the Digital Agriculture Working Group, may I request Stephanie Orlino, Assistant Vice President at Smart Communications and incoming PPSA Digital Agriculture Working Group Lead, to take the floor. Over to you, Steph.
Thank you so much, Ami. Can I be heard well?
Loud
Is my
and
audio
clear.
good? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. We at Smart Communications are privileged to lead the Digital Agriculture Working Group. Our work on the Digital Farmers Program, together with the DAATI, aims to increase the level of adoption of technology by conducting digital literacy trainings among farmers, and this has helped initiate their entry into the digital economy. The goals of this newly formed Digital Agri Working Group are to help bring together both agri-based and non-agri-based organizations that aim to leverage on the use of technology to support the sector. Also to work on tech-based projects that will help address the needs of the agri community, and also hopefully to be able to provide support to the other working groups. So having said this, if you have agri-based technologies and solutions that you want to share with the network, or if you would like to provide inputs for technology development and enhancements, we invite you to join the Digital Agriculture Working Group. You can send us a note via the chat or PPSA, reach out to PPSA. In terms of projects, results of our consultation session show that there is a shared interest in putting together a platform that curates available technologies, solutions, and apps that the agri community can easily refer to address their digital requirements. This will also help foster collaboration among the stakeholders whose shared goal is to help uplift the state of the sector. So in line with this, through the PPSA Secretariat, we will help expand Grow Asia's digital directory locally and facilitate information sharing sessions on digital agriculture. These sessions, as Ami mentioned earlier, which will kick off PPSA's webinars next year, will run in partnership with the Canadian Embassy. With its role as a horizontal, since technology cuts across different crops and themes, we will also be joining the other working groups to determine tech-related needs that could arise from their own discussions. So together, we hope we can build a community of practice that work together to bring real impact to farmers on the group and help contribute to ushering the agri community to the digital economy. Again, salamat. Good afternoon.
Salamat and thank you. Thank you, Steph. Exciting years ahead with smart communications and other digital technology companies such as 8-Layer Tech on board. Again, thank you so much, Ms. Ruth, Gurley, and Steph for your leadership to our working groups. We also like to extend our gratitude to the lead of the PPSA Fisheries Working Group, Norbert Chinquanco. Maybe he cannot join us today, but we are privileged to share the updates from the Fisheries Working Group. For these updates, may I call on VJ Kalutan again, our Communications and Engagement Manager. VJ will also share the updates of the rest of the working groups. VJ, over to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Ami, for that. So I'll be giving the updates for the rest of the working groups of PPSA. For example, for the Fisheries Working Group, took on a value chain project approach to provide direct support to fishing communities. For example, we had an initial project which named as Inclusive Milkfish Aquaculture Project in Quezon Province with our partners from Feed Mix Specialist 2, Tambuyog Development Center, and the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources launched the project back in 2019, and which provided for additional income for fishing communities in Quezon Province. And Grow Asia and PPSA, through eco-cooperation, supported the project with the creation of a business model. PPSA also convened fisheries players locally and internationally to share experiences around helping smallholder fisher folk respond to the challenge of the pandemic. Learning sessions such as this one in your screen and partnership meetings highlighted different opportunities and roadblocks for the fisheries industry in the Philippines and worldwide. The information gleaned from these activities helps provide direction on how to support fishing communities. And during our fisheries working group direction setting workshop, the participants agreed on their picture of success. Fisher folk are able to support themselves and consumers because of healthy and abundant fishing waters, proper support to rehabilitate fishing grounds, and adequate livelihood during off-season. They further discussed the potential areas of collaboration. For example, the development of efforts to provide assistance and resources to fishing communities, and enabling and incentivizing fisher folk to govern their fishing ground. And follow-through meetings are planned to be conducted with the members of the working group to identify the next steps. And then while we are still looking for other possible working group leads, the PPSA Secretariat is facilitating the rest of the working groups. So I will now present the updates from the Coconut Working Group, previously led by Unilever Philippines. It's a strategy to address poverty among coconut farmers. PPSA organized dialogues to identify the support of farmers need to access input, credit information, training programs, and profitable markets. And some of these sessions are the collaborations with the Grow Asia Country Partnership in Cambodia for an investor matchmaking session and the UNFSS subnational dialogue between the farmer groups and the government. In the past years, the Coconut Working Group also connected coconut farmer cooperatives with Unilever Indonesia through Unilever Philippines as a potential market partner. In addition, the coconut working group worked with PPSA's partner, Friends of Hope, which has also partnered with domestic processors and international brands to reinvigorate the coconut water value chain. And this includes sourcing from smallholders and investing in farmer communities to improve the productivity, profitability, and sustainability of coconut farming in the Philippines. And we've reconvened the coconut layers last June, and from the discussions, it was geared upon the next activities towards helping increase farmers' productivity and achieve higher margin markets by implementing coconut-based farming systems, sustainable farming practices at, of course, at the farm level, and professionalizing coconut farm workers. And then for our corn working group previously led by Pioneer DuPont before they were bought by Corteva Agri-Science, continues to provide brokering and coordination support to various corn players in the country and identify any support that can be provided by the PPSA Secretariat. With this, the working group has explored financing opportunities to hopefully respond to the needs of corn farmers who have been gravely affected by previous typhoons. And we had a webinar session. It's an outlook and opportunities the Philippine corn industry, which is already available in our YouTube and Spotify podcast platforms. And in the past years, the working group has also been able to conduct a study that emphasized on how working groups operate towards extending support to smallholder farmers. And the PPSA Secretariat is still in talks with various institutions and the academe to discuss the possible directions of the Agri-Finance and the Learning Alliance working groups. In the completed consultation workshops, these cross-cutting working groups arrive at the following conclusions. So first, for the Agri-Finance working group, the working group envisions success as the farmers having access to credit, which results to increased sales and income for the farmers and even the traders. As such, cooperatives are able to maximize their roles and earn interest from the loans they provide, and possible points of collaboration include the provision for financial knowledge and resources, collection of granular weather data, and enhancement or establishment of accessible and inclusive financial programs for farmers. For our Learning Alliance working group presents many potential opportunities to create a stronger link and good working relationships between the research and the academic partners and the private sector. And in the last direction setting working group meeting, the potential Learning Alliance members concurred with the possibility of establishing an informed, systematic, and inclusive R&D approach in collaboration and consistent dialogue with academe, private sectors, and other stakeholders, while successfully promoting and communicating the research to its intended users. And as mentioned by Ami, a while ago, the PPSA Secretariat is the interim lead or interim working group lead of these working groups, the Coconut, Corn, and Agri-Finance. And of course, the Learning Alliance. So should any of you be interested to seek a leadership position with PPSA's network, please do not hesitate to contact us. And if you want to join any of our working group or even all of our working groups, you may contact us at secretariat@ppsa-ph.org, or you may email me at vj@ppsa-ph.org. And that's it. That's the some of the updates of our working groups for Corn, Agri-Finance, Fisheries, Learning Alliance, and Learning Alliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Again, if you are interested to join the working groups, Miss Ruth, Miss Gurley, Stephanie, and of course the PPSA Secretariat are all here. You can message us through the chat box, or of course, send an email to the Secretariat if you would like to coordinate with them. As we close the operations review, we hope to reintroduce the rest of the PPSA Secretariat. Working with me are Vijay Kalutan, our Communications and Engagement Manager, who has been working on our newsletters, digital media strategies and executions, and webinars. He is also a resident resource person on climate change and land use planning after recently completing the ASEAN Climate Leadership Program. Of course, Cherry Konanan is the newest addition to PPSA. You can reach out to Cherry for inquiry and support related to the responsible agriculture investments, gender mainstreaming, and other community-based initiatives. Ryan Abarquez, our admin and finance officer, who helps with membership coordination and other administrative financial matters. And of course, our colleagues from Grow Asia, especially Pranav Setaputra, who has been guiding our directions and supporting our activities. May I also recognize, of course, our colleagues from Left Legis who are helping us with our legal matters. At this point, we would like to take the opportunity to recognize the official members of PPSA. While Grow Asia continues to fund majority of our operations, these members provide membership contributions to support the network's advocacy and operations, contribute to the platform's sustainability mechanisms, and fund unrestricted support to smallholder farmers and fishers. Our heartfelt gratitude for your continued funding support and trust. Our official members since 2017, East West Seed, Feed Mix Specialist Inc., Jollibee Group Foundation, Nestle Philippines, Nutri Asia, and Unilever Philippines. And this year, we are truly honored to welcome the following organizations and companies as official members of PPSA. Agriterra, Inclusive Value Chains or IVC Philippines, Mori Nation Agricultural Products, Philippine Seed Industry Association Inc., and of course, Smart Communications. We would also like to recognize our associate members and project partners, the European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Food League Advocacy Cooperative, the France-Philippines United Action Foundation, Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, and of course, the Philippine Center for Environmental Protection and Sustainable Development Incorporated. Thank you so much again. Thank you so much. So now, aligned with our objectives of helping you connect with more partners who can help you scale up your respective projects. We invited organizations who will pitch their training offerings, products and services, and or highlight their calls for partnerships. So mabilis lang po ito. This will be very quick. Before we call the first presenter, here are some e-marketplace rules. Each presenter will have a maximum of 4 minutes to present. At the 4-minute mark, a PPSA team member will chat to notify the speaker. Sorry, we were planning to have a buzz go off, but it can't work properly. At the mark, the mic will be muted, then we will proceed to the next presenter. There will be no question and answer for this portion, but the presenters will leave their contact information in the chat box should you need to communicate with them after the General Assembly. So now I think we can start with our first presenter. May I call on L.A. Cruzat of the Jollibee Group Foundation. Please let us know when we'll start the 4-minute mark. Thank you.
All right, I can start now, Amy. Jolly afternoon, everyone. As the social development arm of a restaurant company, Jollibee Group Foundation focuses on helping communities gain sustainable access to food. Our flagship initiative is the Farmer Entrepreneurship Program, or FEP, which we started in 2008. Through FEP, 17 farmer co-ops who were trained in the agro-enterprise clustering approach are now regularly supplying Jollibee Foods Corporation and other markets, proving that farmers can work together and control the marketing of their produce. And of course, we're willing to share the approach and learn from other groups as well. Based on our experience in FEP, we developed an online training program called the Agro Entrepreneurship for Inclusive Value Chains course, conducted in partnership with Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan and FEP practitioners. We've completed the runs for this year, but we will resume in Q1 of 2022. The course runs for 6 weeks and is designed for leaders and personnel of organizations that assist smallholder farmers, equipping them on the agro-enterprise clustering approach. So to find out more, watch out for a learning session that we are organizing with PPSA early next year. And if you think this course is for you, email us or visit our website for details on how you can participate since slots are limited. So now let's hear from the courses 2021 graduates. Maraming salamat.
Agrikultura ang pangunahing ikinabubuhay ng mga taong naninirahan dito.
Ang nakasanayan kasi ng mga magsasaka na pagbibenta ng produkto sa merkado, kadalasan, kanya-kanya o kaya yung mga traditional na market.
Puro yield. Yun ang magiging problema for a time. Hindi sila makabenta sa magandang halaga na commensurate or katumbas doon sa hirap at pagod na kanilang ginugugol sa pagtatanim. Hindi sila makapenetrate sa market.
Sa side naman ng buyers, nahihirapan silang makuha yung quality at quantity na kailangan nila.
Umabot na kami sa punto na nagtatanong-tanong, ano ang maaari namin gawin para i-connect ang farmers sa buyers? Kailangan na talaga ng systematicong intervention.
Kaya hindi kami nagdalawang isip na sumali sa Agro-Entrepreneurship online course ng Jollibee Group Foundation at ng Xavier University Ateneo de Cagayan. Dahil sa course, nagkaroon kami ng malinaw na direksyon at ng mas praktikal na pamamaraan paano namin matutulungan yung mga magsasaka.
Being an implementer of DA's programs and projects, we recognize the relevance and importance of empowering farmers to become agro-entrepreneurs. But we should continue to organize, assist, and capacitate farmers on how to operate enterprises. And the best way to do it is through the ICA way.
As a leader in the Farmer Entrepreneurship Program, I was compelled by a sense of obligation to learn the agro-entrepreneurship clustering approach. Since ang tulong namin sa mga members at sa mga magbe-member sa amin ay mabigyan sila ng mas malaki, mas maayos at mas siguradong pagkakakitaan sa aspeto ng agrikultura.
Yung ICA, napaka-rigorous, napakasinop, piling-pili ang mga materials. Na-meet yung expectation ko na lumawak ang aming network para matulungan ang aming mga farmers. Yun palang mga classmates namin doon sa kurso ay napakalawak na nabalon.
Bagamat may kaba, alam namin na sapat ang mga kaalaman at kakayahan na nakuha namin mula sa EE online course. Mas pinalakas ito yung paniniwala namin na yung mga smallholder farmers ay may kakayahang magnegosyo at umunlad.
The opportunity is out there, the market is out there. Ang kailangan lamang ay mag-evolve at huwag manatili sa kung ano ang nakasanayan at nakagisnan.
Mula sa hindi kaya, patungo sa kayang-kaya. At mula sa kanya-kanya, patungo sa sama-sama.
Sa Agro-Entrepreneurship Clustering Approach or ICA, I can be an agro-entrepreneur.
Thank you so much, Jollibee Group Foundation. LA, you may leave your, if not yet, your contact details in the chat box. Next, we are calling on Dr. Narciso or Nars Intal of Innovet Nutrition Technologies for his presentation. Sir, can we start the timer now?
Sure.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
My friends, my presentation is an innovation. It's an advancement in biotechnology, when what we call the quantum growth microbe lift technology. The quantum growth technology is the result of a unique partnership in agriculture technology development that required years of collaboration between ecological laboratories in the USA and applied and experimental microbiology. The quantum growth series is a breakthrough in biotechnology that provides revolutionary plant enhancements through the combination of cutting-edge developments in microbiology and biophysics. Select microorganisms, including robust photosynthetic strains, comprise the core of the quantum growth And the consortium of these organisms combine with natural and soil constituents to provide the following benefits: improve plant vigor, enhance plant and root development, control fertilizer runoff, water retention and production, increased yield, nutrient storage, faster seed germination, drought resistance, and increased risk levels. I may now invite you to focus on a short video presentation, the Ecological Laboratory 2 in Florida. And after this, it is the farmer, Mr. Pangan, who will cite his testimonies on the quantum growth effect. Please continue. Mukha pong walang ng audio.
Sir, there's no audio in the video.
Okay. Sorry. If we can skip the video to another video, it's a testimony from two rice farmers, Mr. Pangan. There is a next video.
Noted, sir. We'll open it po.
Sorry for that.
Ako si Aurelio Pangan, kasama ko ang aking pinsan na si Nelson Pangan na siya kong katulong sa bukid. Dito kami sa Sanibula sa Simon, Pampanga. Nag-start kami sa pagtatanim ng palay noong 2009 sa 1.1 hectare. Swerte na pag naka 80 kabans kami per cropping season. 2017, nakilala namin yung quantum. Ginamit namin yung quantum, naglakas loob kaming gamitin kahit hindi pa namin nakikita sa ibang lugar. Dahil confident kami sa quantum, talagang binigyan kami ng magandang ani. Year 2017-2018, nakaranas kaming mag-harvest ng 169 bags equivalent to 9.9 tons. Hindi lang yun, nagbawas kami ng mga synthetic fertilizer, nakatipid kami sa pesticide, sa fungicide, marami kaming natipid na inputs. Ngayong 2018-2019, ang binawasan namin ng 50% yung nagamit naming synthetic fertilizer. From 10 bags, 5 bags na lang ang ginamit namin ngayon. At ang naming nakita, mas maganda ang palay, mas resistensya sa peste, mas in-expect namin, mas malaki ang aming anihin. Ngayon, yung 7,000 square meters, kasalukuyan, numani na kami ng 106 bags, average weight na 70 kilos. Yung previous, ang average niya is 60 kilos per bag. So, ang obserbasyon namin, mas matagal kang gumamit, makukondisyon mo yung lupa, mas malaki ang inaani mo. At the same time, nababawasan yung synthetic fertilizer. Ito, katunayan, palay ang naging bunga niya, halos sa wala siyang top naman, kaya mabigat, kaya malakas ang ito naman ang kakaiba sa lahat. Yung ugat niya hindi pangkaraniwan. Sobrang dami ng ugat. 15 minutes ago namin kinuha to sa bukid. Makikita nyo yung sa upper level, itim, pero yung nasa ilalim, yung bumabaon talaga sa lupa, white. Ibig sabihin, kumakain pa rin.
Sorry, that's the end of the
Thank you.
Dr. Nars. Kindly leave your
It's okay.
your contact details in the chat
Yeah.
box, sir, and if the video is also published, can you
Yeah.
leave the link in the chat box too? Thank you, Dr. Nars. Next, we
Yeah.
have Aristelo Asilo
Thank-
from Templado or Varaco.
Yeah.
Aris, are you there?
Yes, I am here. I'm going to share the screen now. Thank you so much. Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Aris, we can
Aris.
hear you.
Hello, yeah. Can you start now? Yeah.
Aris, we can hear you.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay naman.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you check
hello.
again?
Ami, we can hear him.
You can hear me?
Yes,
We're
yes.
not-
You can
we can't
proceed,
hear
sir.
you. Can we move on?
Okay.
Can you fix your audio first, and we'll move to JT first?
No, we can hear him.
You can.
Ami, we can hear him.
Can you guys
can-
hear him, or I'm the one not hearing?
Or the
Aris?
one having problem, Mami. I can hear
Oh,
him.
sorry. Okay, Aris, you
Ami,
can go
it's
ahead.
you.
Thank you.
All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aris Asilo, and I'm the co-founder of Templado International Corporation. I'm going to show you, we're the founders, Katmanto and me. We specialize on product development and investment relations. So our journey started as a thought leader and for being proudly local and impact-driven company, Templado International Corporation. We cover partnership, capacitating our coffee farmers in Cavite and Davao. You can be our deep coffee distributors or for potential franchises as well. And you can connect us to coffee experts, or you can buy our deep coffee for your corporate needs. So what are we? We have a restaurant and a coffee manufacturing company which aims for sustainability. And at the same time, here we're showing you our products. We have a restaurant in Plada, Filipino fusion foods, and different coffee named after several women like Gabriela, Glyceria, Melchora, Josefa. As a company, we are positioning ourselves as a purely Filipino coffee and purely Filipino foods here compared to other companies na nandito na sa Philippines. So we are positioned as a Filipino coffee and Filipino food company. By the numbers, you can see that 90% of the Filipino people are actually umiinom ng instant coffee. So the value of the coffee sa instant coffee is $3.8 billion. And we hope to get at least 1% of that value, 3.8 billion. So the global revenue of coffee, top 5 consuming coffee country ang Philippines. So malaki ang consumption ng instant coffee sa Philippines. So we are positioning ourselves as an true instant coffee. Ang aming ipinopromote through deep coffee system. So we have our own manufacturing system. So we are a patented sustainable deep coffee system. So meron kami sariling patents. We own the patent for the coffee in a tea bag. So we have a unique taste profile. So you can see they're spicy. Yun, isa sa bestseller namin. So yung makita nyo. So we have Barako 3-in-1 Natural, Nati Smoky. So lahat ito true coffee. So we have our own e-commerce, so that where people can buy, because we're positioning ourselves as a digital first brand. So as a digital first brand, we're delivering them a fresh instant coffee Barako, and then compatible with online market. And we have a brick and mortar foundation para mas lalo kaming dumami. So bukod sa store, meron kaming online presence. So we also have our own store. So from selling deep coffee lang in 2018, we now have our own store. And we are a registered trademark. So in January 2020, it was just a concept. But because of the pandemic, we were able to build. Kahit pandemic, nag-build kami ng aming restaurant. So June 2020, ito na siya. Then nag-evolve siya, July 2020. And now, February 2021, ito na siya. And eventually, at the present, yun ang itsura niya. So even during the pandemic, because of coffee, nag-expand kami. And we're now moving on to more stores. So pinopromote namin ang design culture ng Filipinos. Instead, aside from coffee culture, we have our own design. So mas marami pa rin ang production ng producer sa Philippines, pero 4% lang in Liberica. Yun yung meron kami ngayon, yung kapeng Barako. So we're using sustainable farming. So tumutulong tayo sa mga farmers. We're using sustainable farming for coffee. So in fact, together with IIRR and Packetworks, we won a grant from PhilCafe and USAID. We're now doing several projects. Now we also do giving to the farmers, the mothers of the urban poor, and promoting Filipino coffee identity. We're also helping people with disabilities. Sila yung gumagawa ng aming mga kape. So far we have distributed 40,000 coffee na. So updated na siya until August. So 40,000 coffee na yung distribute namin. So we hope that because of our unique business model, ito yung component ng buong Templado. So these are So we also won the UN Best Small Business this year, 2021, because of our unique business model. So I hope you will support us through several partnerships. You can contact us here at hello@templado.com.ph, or you can visit our Facebook page. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aris, and sorry about that. I just fixed my audio. Now we'll move on to again, Aris, kindly leave your contact details in the chat box. We'll move on to the next presenter, our good friend, JT Solis of Mayani.
Thanks a lot, PPSA, VJ, Amy. It's nice to see a lot of familiar faces too, like Marianne and LA from Jollibee. My name is JT. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Mayani. I'm here to sort of ground what we've built over the last couple of years. So we're actually a farm-to-table digital agri-value chain platform, specifically for the F&B and retail sector. And we've been helping a lot of smallholder farmers across the country. When we started out in less than 24 months ago, 2019, we spoke to a farmer named Felix. He's a rice farmer, 70 years old. In our conversation with him, he cited two recurring problems as a farmer. He can't find a customer. Even if he does find a customer, that customer isn't going to pay him at a price that would enable him to recover his cost of inputs and production. We asked ourselves a question: is this a broader microcosm of a lot of the smallholder farmers across the country? PSA cited a lot of the farmers belong to the country's poorest of the poor. What we did to solve that was we built an agri-e-commerce platform that can fully unlock the $10 billion agricultural output value in the Philippines. We're doing this by consolidating harvest at scale, optimizing that supply chain, and digitizing it end to end. Now we've built a proprietary tool also that allows us to harvest and leverage data at the farm level, so we can better match it with market demand. This has been a tool funded by ADB. We started partnering with a lot of the farmers all over the country, even interfacing with government. Now, a lot of these co-ops now have started digitizing and participating in the broader internet economy. In a lot of ways, we did spark a tech revolution and disrupted the agri-supply chain for the better. Right now, I'm proud to share that we already work with about 72,000 smallholder farmers across the country, spread across key regions in Luzon. We now also power and connected them some of the biggest supply chains in the country, the likes of Shell, Walter Mart, Robinsons, Roostons, even global foundations like Rotaract. We did start very small as a young technology startup with just a very passionate eye for agriculture. We were doing this ourselves, but eventually we were able to move it from 0 to 1. Right now, we already work with the likes of DA, DTI, providing continuity of supply chain in food systems across different regions, even going as far as Camarines Norte, for instance, helping the Formosa pineapple growers there. When DTI saw this, they said, you know what? Why don't we team up together along with Grab, Southeast Asia's leading super app? We combined forces and actually brought a lot of these rural farmers on board. Right now, this is our operations look like. We consolidate this across different regions across the country, delivering them across the last mile. We have also reshaped how agri-food arrived at people's table, bringing them fresh delight for all of these fresh produce coming directly from the farmers. As a tech startup, we've also received the backing of Ag Funder, the Silicon Valley venture firm leader in ag and food tech. We've partnered with the likes of Shell, Walter Mart. You can see this right now. Our farmers produce present the likes of Roostons, Walter Mart, Karamia, Healthy Options, even Save the Children, since this month is the National Children's Month in collaboration with the Aboitiz Foundation. Our huge inflection point was when we got the backing of ADB, when we rose above 31 countries and said, maybe we can expand this towards broader Philippines and broader Southeast Asia. Farmers have experienced a 50% rise in farmers' income and a 20% post-harvest reduction in losses. I'm proud to share that in the recent Temasek report, the Philippines now is the fastest growing internet economy in Southeast Asia. In our fight for relevance, we have also partnered with the government in providing that continuity of supply chain in 3 regions across the country, 1, 2, and the Cordilleras. So if you want to help redefine the future of food today, and harness the power of technology so we can empower a lot of these smallholder farmers, I'd be more than happy to chat. It's jt@mayani.ph. Thank you.
Wow, JT, 28 slides in 4 minutes. Congratulations again. Please leave the JT email address in the chat box. And now we're moving on to our last presenter. May I call on Ken Santingan of We Solve Foundation. Ken, over to you.
Thank you, Amy. Hi, everyone. I can start with 4 minutes. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm Carl from We Solve Foundation. We're a very new collective impact organization founded by Sir Srapa and Jim Lopa. Our biggest initiative to date was Move Us One, so on inclusive mobility. But during the pandemic, we were approached by a couple of stakeholders to look at the food system and figure out what are some of the market-driven solutions that we could do to sort of go away from a donor-dependent mindset in addressing hunger and undernutrition in the Philippines. And so for the past few months, we've been mapping the food system and co-ideating revenue models. And some of you who are here in PPSA are part of this very, very early draft of a food system map. But we wanted to combine circular frameworks and all these other frameworks to sort of map the different revenue models that are currently available or are ongoing in the Philippines. As you notice, some buckets are more populated than others. And what we were able to sort of identify as in conversation with a lot of stakeholders is that there are 4 potential disruptive investments. And in the next few months, we at WeSolve, together with PBSP and others, we're going to be focusing on 2 of them. And I'll be very quickly sharing some detail in how we could sort of partner together if you're interested. But the ultimate goal really is to build a library of turnkey solutions that mayors and entrepreneurs could sort of get ideas from, similar to refed.com in the US. So the first of 2 ideas is the Alternative Rice Hub of Tanginyaman Foundation. They've been able to source high quality rice from Nueva Ecija and Tarlac and sell it at 10 pesos cheaper market rates in partner parishes and dioceses here in Metro Manila. And we're planning to sort of build on this proof of concept and replicate it in other parishes and dioceses with coupled with a capacity building program to help social action committees become social enterprises as well as an alternative rice hub. And the second idea that we wanted to share, this one has been, we've been able to raise some pre-seed funding for this. It's very similar to Ripley in Chicago. It's an asset exchange manager that's industry agnostic. So the idea here is to map and track, make visible all your resources and underutilized assets within and external to your organization and allow you to manage, find, swap, or rent any of those physical assets internally or externally. So those are 2 of our big ideas. And just to sort of give you an idea how you could help, the Hunger Project with PBSP and the Alternative Rice Hubs is currently raising funding to via the Tanginyaman Foundation to provide working capital loans for those alternative rice hubs, starting with Caloocan and Pasig. We're also launching a capacity building program that I mentioned earlier. So if you're willing to co-train or co-sponsor that, we'd be happy to have you. The second part is for the asset sharing platform. We're currently prototyping this one with the initial pre-seed grant, pre-seed investment. And so if you can share your experience with us with your current physical asset management system, you want to build a better one, you're not happy with your asset management system, we'd love to learn from your experience. And if eventually this is ready, hopefully within the next quarter of next year, we invite you to list your underutilized assets, whether it's your warehouse, your underutilized kitchen, etc., so that regardless of your industry, you could share them with other players. My email address is here, and I'll be sharing it with the chat box. Thank you so much for having me, and looking forward to chat with everybody.
Thank you so much, Carl. I think our speakers deserve a chat applause reaction in the. Yes, thank you so much. Again, thank you also to adhering to our request of snappy, catchy presentations, LA, Doc Nars, Aris, JT, and Ken. Again, if you'd like to contact them, please check the chat box for their contact details or inform any of the PPSA team members you need help connecting with them. Today, next in our program, we are excited and proud to announce another initiative that will bring us closer to our objective of building meaningful relationships among members and partners towards helping support your respective growth and that of our farmers and fishers. May I call back Dr. Mary Ann Sayok Maps for the launch of this network.
Thank you, Amy. Again, good afternoon. Please bear with me. This is my 3rd time to speak. Okay. As what many say, bold moves for big changes. Bold leadership is required to increase the adoption of inclusive business practices in the Philippines. The private sector presents a lot of opportunities to meaningfully engage the farmers and fishers into the supply chains. The public sector has allocated resources towards social development and maximizing human capital. Research and academe have devoted time, resources, and efforts to develop some innovations and solutions. Tracing back to the idea that led to the setup of PPSA 6 years ago, we are bringing these sectors together in in-depth conversations that would bring up constructive feedback and initiate concrete and practical interventions towards professionalizing farmers as competitive market players. Today, we are launching the Inclusive Value Chains Leadership Network, a community of practice composed of members, inclusive agricultural value chain leaders and practitioners, critically selected from among the many agriculture sector players who can help drive a shift on how farmer engagement and market agreements are usually done. In search for answers to the question, how might we help professionalize the smallholder farmers and fishers, increase their agency, and empower them to become effective and confident market players, while improving or scaling various inclusive agribusiness models and strategies? The IVC Leadership Network will have the following goals: promote and accelerate the adoption of inclusive business practices in the Philippines towards a more sustainable, climate positive, and gender inclusive food systems. Encourage peer-to-peer consultations and decision-making, creating stronger, friendlier relationships built on trust and shared advocacies of inclusive agricultural growth. PPSA members could expect receiving invitations to the IVC Leadership Network. As we envision a space for productive discourse that should translate to fruitful plans of actions, for now, participation to the network will be by invitation only, following formal membership to PPSA. Network members may also endorse potential members to the network reference group. But if any of you is interested to be part of the network and agree to be comfortable in discussing issues and concerns, successes and even failures, and advices and best practices in inclusive value chain programs and projects, you may reach out to the PPSA Secretariat. Expect that with this community of practice, we will work together, adapt together, and learn from one another. See you soon in our first network call. Thank you. Back to you, Amy.
Thank you so much, Maps, with 3 exclamation points for your 3 speaking parts today. Please expect more details on the IVC Leadership Network and, of course, invites to join the reference group and the network itself. So again, to make this event more memorable, we have GrowAsia's newly appointed interim executive director, Beverly Postma, for her closing remarks. Bev, the mic is yours.
Hello, thank you very much, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Great. Well, look, it's so great to see many familiar faces and names on that list. I wish we could all be together in person in the Philippines. I can't wait to join you all and to see you in action together as soon as it's possible for us to travel. I've greatly enjoyed this General Assembly, and it's my sincere honor and pleasure to offer some closing remarks. Allow me first to acknowledge and thank our most esteemed guests and opening speakers. Madam Leni Robredo, Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines. Wasn't it amazing to see her address this audience? Dr. William Dar, Secretary, Department of Agriculture and the PPSA Public Sector Co-Chair, And of course, Dr. Marianne Sayok, our Public Affairs Lead of East-West Seed and the PPSA Private Sector Co-Chair. All three of these speakers shared some common themes. Did you notice? And you all reminded us of the vital importance of bringing to life the title of this General Assembly, from collaborations to value creation. Dr. Marianne reminded us that while we highly appreciate the role of all the individual organizations' programs in delivering large-scale food system transformation, we also need to work together more effectively to reach more farmers in a meaningful way. This is the only way we will achieve a greener, healthier, and more sustainable future. She highlighted that one critical pathway for this is through the technical working groups like the PPSAs, where they work to identify each player's needs and limitations, eliminate any barriers and silos, and then take some risks so that more farmers can gain rewards and support each other to both look at and address the bigger picture issues. I fully support Dr. Marianne's call for action for everyone here and beyond to play their part in the PPSA working groups, where together we can co-design, pilot, resource, and scale up the most promising of these interventions, some of which we were so fortunate to see in that final pitch session. And I want to say huge congratulations to our agripreneurs. It's very, very hard to pitch in this environment to this audience, and you all did an amazing job. And I look forward to following your links and learning more about your interventions. Congratulations. Meanwhile, Dr. William Dar reminded us of the 1DA reform agenda, which has the goal of helping farmers become strong, self-sustaining, and striving. His call to action is for us to all work together, notice the theme, and to operationalize specific and most importantly, the high potential strategies. His three priorities were modernization, clustering, and farmer professionalization. This last one plays very close to my heart. I come from a smallholder farmer, albeit in a wealthier part of the world in the UK. But I really believe we must move away from romancing the idea of a smallholder farmer and actually see these as vital small and medium-sized enterprises that are contributing to the GDP of our nations and delivering the food that is so vital to our food systems. I must really remind you of the words of Vice President Madam Leni Robredo. She stressed that collective action is key to creating systems and also to creating policies and practices that support farmers, the environment, and food security. She most notably said, the challenge is structural, and structures cannot be disbanded alone. I think we can all endorse her call to action that if we are truly to deliver meaningful scale and greater impact, our work must address these structural challenges in the broader context of the food system. So please join me in saying a big virtual remote thank you to all of our honored speakers. You can use your clap buttons on your reactions menu to show your appreciation to all of our working group leads and other contributors who've made this so memorable, or to add your thanks and comments in the chat function. I've learned a great deal from listening to your presentations and hearing firsthand about the challenges you've all overcome in the Philippines during this most challenging year. I'm sure everyone will agree that your work is inspiring, it's vital, and it's impactful. You should all feel tremendously proud of your achievements this year. I've enjoyed reading the PPSA annual report and hearing your presentations, which bring the numbers to life. Together, our partners in the Philippines have demonstrated the true meaning of resilience. Your results this year speak to the dedication and hard work of all of our partners and staff across all sectors and all value chains. I've witnessed some remarkable contributions today, but together you have proved that when we break down silos and work not as individuals, but as a team, we can be greater than the sum of our parts, even when we can only work from behind our computer screens and on Zoom meetings. This year, PPSA has increased and deepened its engagement with both the founding members and with new partners. You've contributed to the drafting of national action plans, of pathways, and to government programs, including, and these are just a few, the Philippines Action Plan for Family Farming, the Philippines Pathway for Food Systems Transformation, the Coffee Industry Roadmap, and many successful consultations for the Rice Competitive Enhancement Fund. Just step back and think how remarkable those achievements are given the restrictions that we've all faced this year. Despite the obvious challenges of the pandemic, you've continued to scale up your support to various value chain projects and gender mainstreaming activities while accelerating the promotion of responsible agriculture investment guidelines. This includes, but it's not limited to, the brokering of new partnerships and the launching of new action-oriented collaborations, while continuing to excel at organizing and facilitating many vital knowledge and learning activities that lay at the core and lifeblood of the Grow Asia network. I've had the pleasure of interviewing more than 30 high-level stakeholders during my onboarding journey as the interim executive director of Grow Asia. They have all voiced their gratitude and their admiration for our country partnerships. You've worked so hard to deliver valuable training programs that not just continued the growth of our existing programs, but you have addressed and pivoted to the very distinct challenges that were posed by the pandemic. And I want you to know that your senior stakeholders acknowledge and see the value of those efforts. So thank you to all of you. Over the last 30 years, I've had the privilege to work with and to lead many different types of multi-stakeholder platforms. And in this time, I've come to realize that every successful collaboration begins with what I call the coalition of the willing. You, the people gathered on these screens today, are that coalition. The fact that you are prepared to give up your time and your expertise, often on top of busy day jobs, to attend this General Assembly and the working groups and committees, and to share your own unique skills and expertise, is the reason why Grow Asia and PPSA can celebrate so many accomplishments this year. We are only as strong as our members and partners. And without you, we cannot fulfill our important mission to foster more inclusive, sustainable, and resilient food systems. We can only do this by working with and listening to our farming and fishing communities at the grassroots. We need to deliver real solutions that improve the lives and businesses of people who grow our food. I've been fortunate to make many trips to the Philippines and to experience the challenges and opportunities in these grassroots communities firsthand. I therefore know that the Filipinos are known for their, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong, the Tanginyaman, or the community spirit, as well as for your creativity and resourcefulness. This event's theme, from collaborations to value co-creation, highlights how this spirit, this community spirit, is a critical foundation to the collaborative work of Grow Asia and the wider network, including PPSA. We saw this come to life in the breakout sessions, didn't we? I invite you again, if I'm not sure how this works, but if you can use your reaction buttons to give us a thumbs up if you heard any new case studies or stories that truly inspired you and that showcase this community spirit. You can also add your comments in the chat if you wish to personally show your appreciation for any of our breakout speakers or case studies, or to ask for follow-up if you want to connect to a particular working group or to a project. Breakout 1 focused on mainstreaming inclusive value chains, and our speakers highlighted just how challenging it is to reach communities in a meaningful way. We had some excellent and very frank examples of how our partners are working with PPSA to scale up best practice, such as professionalizing smallholder producers, involving more women in business decisions and development, and placing a bigger focus on ensuring that ethical approaches are observed when engaging our grassroots communities. It's clear that long-term value can only be realized for these communities if we balance both the risks and the rewards of adopting inclusive business practices, and by considering these practices as investments as opposed to just philanthropic initiatives. I'm pleased to see so many of our private sector partners stepping up to acknowledge the role they play in this space. And I'm particularly excited to hear about the new IAVC Leadership Network. I urge everyone, particularly our private sector partners, to engage in this community of practice. And I look forward to being part of this growing initiative. Congratulations on the launch. Breakout 2 focused on emerging pathways to food system transformation. We know that the recent UN Food Systems Summit and COP26 has placed the spotlight firmly on the agriculture sector, and it's challenged everyone to embrace food systems thinking in a more holistic, transformational, and an inclusive approach to delivering the sustainable development goals and reaching our climate targets before it's too late. PPSA has been a major partner of the government and the UN agencies in the Philippines in hosting dialogues and drafting the country's statements and commitments during the UN Food Summit. The PPSA report called for specific actions, including the creation of a Philippine Food Systems Consortium and the finalization of the Philippine Food Systems Transformation Logical Framework. I wish to reinforce these calls to action and to encourage all of our members and partners in the Philippines to fortify your own individual commitments. Now is the time to put our money where our mouth is, and maybe even to create new, bolder commitments. This is the only way we can create a better enabling environment for the real transformation of food systems in a way that will close that last mile and deliver meaningful benefits for smallholder farmers and businesses. Breakout session 3 focused on building resilience and sustainability. We heard in this session about the urgent need to mainstream our conversations on climate change mitigation and to convert them into scalable investments before it's too late. We know that the effects of climate change continue to hinder agricultural development in the Philippines, most especially in the most vulnerable communities. Our speakers clearly and articulately elaborated how climate resilience and sustainability build a stronger agricultural sector. I've been impressed by the high level of engagement in Grow Asia's learning initiatives on things like climate positive and precision agriculture. And we will continue to work with you to identify and accelerate the most innovative public and private sector approaches that offer the biggest benefits for our farming communities. Again, I urge everyone to participate in the new Inclusive Value Chain Leadership Network and this important community of practice of partners who implement, promote, advocate, and continuously strive to scale up inclusive agricultural value chains in the Philippines. I hope you all enjoyed participating in your breakout sessions as much as I did. I want to finish by congratulating and thanking all of today's speakers and thanking all of our participants for your questions, your ideas, your energy, and your support. Based on this display of commitment and energy, I am confident that Grow Asia and PPSA will continue to leverage and showcase the good works of our partners and members. Together, I'm confident that we can accelerate our efforts to close the last mile and give our smallholder farmers the tools and skills they need to occupy a more visible space in the global food system and their value chains. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused unprecedented disruption to all of our lives. It's placed huge burdens on communities and economies, but it's also presented us with a vital inflection point that has exposed our weaknesses in society and highlighted the need for us to work together to scale up solutions. We have all the technologies we need to solve our deepest societal and planetary problems. All we lack is the mechanisms and political will to scale up these technologies and place them in the hands of those who can benefit most from using them. Through multi-stakeholder partnerships like Grow Asia and PPSA, we can facilitate bolder commitments to break down silos, rebalance priorities, and scale up the most promising solutions where they are needed most. I'm deeply grateful to the working group leads, the core members, and the PPSA Secretariat for delivering another year of amazing achievements and for inspiring all of us to grasp the tools we need to deliver a better deal for agriculture in the Philippines and all the communities who rely on it. I wish you all a very safe and smooth end to this difficult year, and I'm excited to work with you and to hear your plans for an uplifting and transformational 2022. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Bev, for participating in today's event. You captured the messages and discussions perfectly. I dare not summarize that as I might lose all the essential points. What great takeaways to end the program. Of course, we look forward to working more closely with you and to introducing you to our members through virtual calls, of course, for now, and maybe face-to-face meetings in the future. Before we end, we just have one last request. A survey on the event, of course, will pop up on your screen. Kindly respond to help us improve our future activities. The question is, of course, overall, how satisfied are you with our General Assembly? So I think the poll has been launched already. And we'll give maybe 20 seconds to finish the poll. We are at 50%, 55%. And the others respond to, or are you getting your coffees and tea? They were at 64. I think we can end the poll now, or we are at 70. 70. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your Thursday afternoon with us. Of course, we hope that you have some learnings to take away as we end the session. Again, maraming salamat po to our speakers, our moderators, our e-teachers, and also the rest of the participants in this General Assembly. Have a great rest of the day, everyone. Mabuhay po tayong lahat.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Keep safe.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
Thank
Annie.
you, everyone.
Thanks, Maps.
Thank you, everybody. Congratulations, PPSA team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye po. For those who would like an e-certificate, just kindly send an email to the PPSA Secretariat po to request. Thank you.